We have Jerry Gray is a chaplain, he'll be offering prayers. Ray Washburn is a member of our post and an honor guard member of our post, and he will be reading 2 items. Brian Galing is the Detachment 13 Commander of the Sons of the American Legion, the adjutant of Post 90, and a welcome member. He will do a reading. Rebecca Sewell is on the Post 90 Executive Board, and she's also an officer in the American Legion Riders. She will be doing a reading. And from outside of the state in Colorado, we got Sherry Baker from Auxiliary Post 11-11 in Westminster, Colorado, and she'll be doing a reading also. Please all stand. With the flag of our country in place, salute. 2. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Uncover, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Carl? Resolution 288, adopted on the at the 67th National Convention, calls for designating a POW/MAI empty chair at all official meetings of the American Legion as a physical symbol of the thousands of American POWs and MIAs still unaccounted for from all the wars and conflicts involving the United States of America. Accordingly, at this time, Sergeant-at-Arms Carl Seda will place the POW/MAI flag on the empty chair as a reminder for all of us to spare no effort to secure the release of any American prisoners from captivity, the repatriation of the remains of those who have died bravely in the defense of liberty, and a full accounting of those missing. Let us dedicate ourselves to this vital endeavor. Let's observe a moment of silence. This moment of silence was for those who are serving and who served in defending our country from all wars and conflicts. I'd like to introduce Tom Washington, Mike Washington, and Lillian Washington. Lillian is the sister-in-law of Father John Washington, whom we will speak about today. And of course, Tom and Mike are their nephews. Pardon me. Thanks for coming. Thank you very much. On February 3rd, 1943, at 12:55 a.m., the USAT Dorchester was tragically sunk. Of the 902 young men on board, only 230 survived. Many of those survivors owe their lives to the courage and the leadership exhibited by the historic 4 chaplains, who in sacrificing their lives created a unique legacy of brotherhood. Since 1951, the Chapel of 4 Chaplains has spread a message of interfaith cooperation and selfless service, touching the lives of thousands of people in this country. There will be thousands of Fort Chaplain interfaith memorial services held across the country on or near February 3rd. Today is February 2nd. This service is a tribute to those courageous chaplains and 672 brave young men who lost their lives on that faithful night. Further, this service honors all those who have served and whose courage and faith have sustained our country. It is important that we teach our children and youth about these great events and great sacrifices, for they are our future. It is vital for them to understand what selfless sacrifice on behalf of others can accomplish. Now, Jerry Gray will offer an opening prayer to this ceremony.
God of our fathers and our God, we thank you for the unity that the Dorchester Chaplains, these four men of God, demonstrated in life and death. Unity that is not uniformity. Unity that strengthens within each of us every worthy loyal of faith and practice. Unity that transcends all our differences and makes us one in loyalty to our country and our fellow men, and to you, our God. Grant us now for your abiding presence that we may remain faithful to the spirit of our four chaplains who, having learned to live and serve together in death, were not divided.
Thank you, Jerry. We can recover now. The first half of the Fort Chaplain saga will be given by Brian Gailing, District 13 Commander and Squadron 90 Commander here in Cape Coral. You can sit down.
You can all be seated. It was known as Torpedo Junction, the U-boat infested icy waters off the North Atlantic during World War II. On February 3rd, 1943, the USAT Dorchester, an old coastal steamer which was quickly pressed into military service, was slowly making her way through those waters bound from Greenland in command of Hans J. Danielson. Most of the men were seasick and green with nausea. Because they were in submarine waters, the captain directed them to keep their outer gear and life jackets on at all times. Moving among them were four chaplains: George Fox, Methodist; Alexander Good, Jewish; Clark Poling, Dutch Reformed; and John Washington, Roman Catholic. The chaplains talked with and listened to the men, soothing their apprehensions, offering encouragement, or sharing a joke. By their concern, their camaraderie with the men and with one another, and their very presence, they brought solace to the men. Only 150 miles from its destination, an enemy submarine, U-223, was stalking the ship undetected and fired 3 torpedoes towards the ship's aging flank. One torpedo exploded in a boiler room, destroying the electric supply and releasing suffocating clouds of steam and ammonia gas. Many on board died instantly. Some were trapped below deck. Others, jolted from their bunks, groped and stumbled their way to the upper decks of the stricken vessel. Taking on water rapidly, the ship began listing to starboard. It only took 27 minutes for the ship to slip below the waves after the first torpedo struck. Next section will be Rebecca.
Because security reasons prevented the use of distress flares escort vessels, which were still close enough to assist, pushed on into the darkness, unaware of the Dorchester was sinking. Overcrowded lifeboats capsized, rafts drifted away before anyone could reach them. Men clung to the rails, frozen with fear, unable to let go, and plunged into the dark, churning water far below. The 4 chaplains calmed frightened men, got them into the spare life jackets, and urged them over the side. The supply of extra jackets ran out, with men still waiting. But having decided to remain with the sinking ship, the 4 chaplains either gave to or forced upon the frightened servicemen their own life jackets. One sailor, Petty Officer John Mahoney, attempted to re-enter his cabin because he forgot his gloves. "Never mind," Chaplain Good responded. "I have 2 pair." In retrospect, Mahoney realized that Rabbi Good was not carrying 2 pair, but had decided not to leave the Dorchester. Too quickly, no more lifeboats could be launched, and many men were left aboard. But there was no more for the chaplain to do. When last seen, they were standing together on the deck, leading the men in prayer. With arms linked in friendship and heads bowed in prayer, they sank beneath the waves. 2 of those chaplains were Protestant. One was Catholic and one was Jewish. Monsignor John McNamara, former Chief of Chaplains of the U.S. Navy, said at a 4 Chaplains Award service, "No casting director in Hollywood could have selected a better cast of characters than those 4 to portray the basic unity of the American people." The self-sacrifice of the 4 chaplains was a heroic act. It was not the only heroic act aboard the Dorchester, but it was the identity of these 4 young men representing 3 great faiths of the American people that added symbolism to their sacrifice.